All right, I'm going to show you how to cut into an acorn squash. And this is a winter squash. And it's got a very thick skin. And so it's hard to cook in, to cut into. So, one of my tricks is that you got to be very careful with your knife. You want to hold your knife really super firm, okay? And I'm going to put it right in the middle here, and I'm just going to rock my knife. Rock my knife, okay? Rock it. And then when it gets in there, now watch what I do. Kind of like by pushing it down like this. Oops, there goes the stem. There, that helped the knife go through. And again, I'm going to continue to rock it. All right. Just be very, very careful. I just don't want you cutting yourself, having an accident. Okay, rocking the knife is the key. Okay, there we go, there we go. Now, I'm going to scoop out these seeds and I'm going to toast them. Super easy to toast them in a microwave. Like you can literally do it in 3 minutes. Hold on. I'm also roasting some mushrooms on my stovetop. Oh, look at these. Those look really good, right? Yeah. Slow, slow. Slow and low with mushrooms. Slow and low. That's for another recipe. But anyway. All right. So I'm going to get myself a spoon here. And I'm going to scoop all of this goop out. You know, scoop the seeds out. And now because I'm making a stuffed acorn, this is going to be stuffed, I want to make sure I get all of the, what do you call this stuff? Goop. Get the goop out. Get the goop out. Okay? Now, when you roast seeds, I want to remind you not to wash the seeds. You don't want to wash them. You just want to kind of get them off of the goop here. But don't wash them off because I think the goop actually gives it the flavor. Goop flavor. All right. I'm going to pause this for a second. Okay. So I got all the goop out. And now I'm just going to do just a very little drizzle. Little drizzle. You know, it's probably on this many seeds. You know, maybe a teaspoon or so. And then I'm going to stir it up like this. See, you can see some of the acorn squash goop. Don't know the technical word. It's still in there. All right. Whoa, one just flew out of my plate there. All right, now I'm going to flatten it like this. And then I'm going to put a little salt on it. Just a little bit, not too much. Not too much. Oh, okay, I think that was enough. All right, now I'm going to microwave it for like 2 minutes. Then I'm going to turn it, and then I'm going to do 1 more minute. And then I'm going to turn it, and then maybe I'll do 1 more minute, and I'll be right back. Okay, next. Okay, here we are. This was 2 minutes. And then I stirred them, and then only 1 more minute. And you can see that they're nice and toasty. They're very hot right now, so I'm not going to try them. But there's a little burnt part that's just like from the pumpkin, or I'm sorry, acorn squash. Anyway, look at how beautifully toasted those are. These are super delicious. All right, so little snack, or you can put this on top of your stuffed acorn squash. I'm gonna put that aside right now. Okay, next in the recipe is that you have to make a little quinoa to stuff the acorn squash with. And if you're out of quinoa, you can have, or if you don't have quinoa, you can use rice or whatever. And I want to show you something that just happened to me. All right, so I had my jar of quinoa. It has water in it now. But I opened up the jar and I looked at it and I saw things moving. And so I put my glasses on and I confirmed that there were things moving in here. And so it was disgusting. There's like a whole ant colony in my, or I don't know, teeny weensy ants. And so always check your grains no matter how you store them. I mean, how did they even get in here? I'll tell you how they got in here. A lot of grains, when you buy them in bulk, there are insects in them, whether you like it or not. Whether you like knowing that or not, there are insects in a lot of grains. And so you just, it's okay, but clearly they multiplied and they made like a whole colony in here, so good thing I checked. Now, what I do have is I've got some red quinoa. I'm gonna put my glasses on, take a look at this, see if I see anything moving in here. No, I do not. One summer, I got this infestation of what they call pantry moths, and it's just because it comes in like your flour or any oatmeal, anything that is grains, and so you just gotta always check your grains. So for the recipe, it calls for a half cup of quinoa to 1 cup water, and I love quinoa because 1, it's really good for you, and 2, it's nice, light and fluffy, and 3, it cooks in like 15 minutes. So you can do this while your acorn squash is cooking. So I'm going to get my pan here, and I'm going to measure a half cup of quinoa. All right, and then to 1 cup of water. And the beautiful thing about quinoa, gotta measure this. Beautiful thing about quinoa is, what is the beautiful thing about quinoa? I forget now. All right. Anyway, okay. So I'm going to put this on the stovetop. I bring it to a boil, and as soon as it comes to a boil, I put the cover on, and then I let it simmer on low for like 15 minutes. And then I take it off of the oven, off of the stovetop, and I let it sit there without taking the cover off. Let it sit there for like another 5 minutes. All right, I'll catch you when I'm done. I want to say, in the meantime, I'm going to put these in a 350 degree oven, and these need to bake for at least 30 minutes. And at 30 minutes, you want to take a knife and just kind of poke at them, and if it goes in very easily, then you know that it's cooked. If it doesn't go in easily, then you just put it in for maybe another 5 or 10 minutes. Okay. All right, the quinoa is done. And so I'm just going to take it off of the stovetop here. It has been sitting there for a little while. And so it's nice and cooked. All right. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to just put it in the bowl, because now I'm making the filling. All right. So I've got my quinoa in the bowl, and you know, the recipe calls for parsley, but I don't have parsley on hand, so I'm going to use spinach. So I'm just going to grab my spinach leaves here and chop it a little bit finely. And I get that together here. All right. And, you know, I don't think you want too big of pieces here. Okay. All right. So there's my spinach. Going to add that to the bowl. And then it says to add a 1/4 cup of feta cheese. Now, feta cheese is very salty. And I have, stop. I have it in chunk, but it calls for crumbled, and so I'll just kind of crumble it in there and do that. And you got to be careful knowing that the feta cheese is salty. I don't want to add too much salt. And then it says to add the seeds. And we ate some of these seeds, my husband and I did. But I think this is enough. All right. And then it says to add a little bit of olive oil and red wine vinegar. Now the olive oil is just to give it a nice flavor. It said 1 tablespoon. Bam, there's 1 tablespoon. And then also it calls for a teaspoon of red wine vinegar. Now the vinegar is going to help make this pop. The flavors pop a little bit. So here's my vinegar. And I'm just gonna go, there's 1 teaspoon. Okay, there's 1 teaspoon. Okay. And now there's my mixture. All right, so looks nice. Now I feel like I wrote on the recipe that adding some chopped tomatoes, chopped fresh tomatoes would be nice. And I think that that would really bring out the color and make it pop. Okay, I should probably taste this to see how it is. All right, let's see. Mm-hmm. 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 Yeah. That's good. All right. So now my acorn squash is ready. And what I'm going to do, why don't I just bring this over here? And so now we have the acorn squash. I did test it. Oh yeah, that's nice and soft. Yep, nice and soft. All right. Now, you do not need to do this while it's super, super hot. It just came out of a 350-degree oven. So actually, I'm going to let it cool a little bit. The recipe actually calls for 2 acorn squashes, so you would have 4 halves to fill, and this is about enough for 4 halves. So I'm not going to do that right now just because it is super hot and I don't want to fill it. So, but that's what you would do. You would fill it and then you serve it. And pretty easy recipe. You can use any squash, really. You can use a delicata squash. Acorn squash is good. Butternut squash is big, and maybe you just use the part that has where the seeds are, and that's got that little area where you can fill it up. But try it with acorn squash. I think that you will like it. All right, thanks for watching.